I can just mention, especially for Kenya and
for instance, Chile, Bolivia, Peru.
From our side, it's kind of it's slow.
In Australia, one of the main focuses
maybe you guys will aware of my country situation that
Russians always said about Russia that
which is something that we still in Latin America lack.
And Italy is quite behind from this point of view, I think.
Number one and number two, leaving behind the United States and the
developed country, the US, is actually falling behind a country that's considered developing, Cuba.
China has involved Pakistan and other African countries, Russia, and all.
Previously, based on the topic of development, I invited young people from around the world to share about development goals and focuses from their governments, and also what are some of the challenges to achieve development progress. If you haven't seen that video yet, do take a look. It's quite an interesting and insightful 15 minutes. But in this video, we will focus on the positives and be constructive, particularly on the good examples and good ideas and good practices proposed by young people to make development a reality. And before we wrap up, young people from around the world also share some very critical thoughts and reality checks as we think about global development. To kickstart, I asked young people from around the world what development initiatives capture their attention and why.
Latin America share culture and history. We share also languages. There are alliances, economical alliances that led us to commerce between our countries and use our ports, harbors, airports and railways, and this opened the frontiers. And for instance, lately I realized I get the information about a collaboration from Chile, Argentina, and Brazil to open a way from Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean, so the production made in Brazil could take the Chilean harbors, and in the opposite way too. So this is also an advancement and a way to get development, as you said. Yeah, that's what I think.
We can appreciate China doing impressive things such as creating a hospital for COVID in 10 days. And we all followed the video that was being like a witness of that miracle, and serving in the 11th day patients. This is something that we in Latin America, I don't think, have ever even imagined.
China, of course, the Soviet Union, Cuba, Vietnam, all of them have managed to industrialize agriculture and make that fundamental difference. And they've actually managed to, dramatically drive down, the inequality index, and the poverty alleviation campaign of 800 million. Those are indisputable facts and cemented in the history, and it's rooted in the understanding that agriculture has to be collectivized and industrialized. And I think when countries see that and understand that, then those differences will be able to be dealt with.
If you see CPEC, then China has involved Pakistan and other African countries, Russia, and all other countries in this region. And if somehow this works, then it can cause the whole region to develop collectively. So that's my point. And in doing so, we need to have a lot of development in terms of digital economy and digital side. I guess China is an important country because it has quietly worked on its own, did all the hard work, and now it is in such a position that it can be the next world power, world leader. So because not to say that America did not do good, America did good, but it engaged itself into several other things as well. As opposing to that, China was very quiet about it, was friendly with other nations, and wanted to engage its neighbors, and not only engage its neighbors for its good, but for their good as well. So that's a major contributing factor to it being a leader as of now in this region.
What I learned from all these examples is that identifying what we have in common is critical as we explore future paths in promoting global development collectively and creating a community of shared future for mankind and the environment around us on this planet. So then I asked all these young people from around the world on ideas and what we need to focus on to promote global development.
Once you have the political stability, then those kind of revolutions or transforming the technological advancement or just pushing up your economy or just making to make sure to empower your own people or your own population, that will be quite easy. The thing is that how we can balance. This is really important. First, you need to involve the local community, what actually they like. Like in my area, we are more concerned about the beauty. We are more concerned about the infrastructure, the forest, the jungles. We are more concerned about the climate change.
Local collaboration is the first step to get the global collaboration. And the first one couldn't be with the other. So as I said, it's the first step and the most important. So if we do a good local collaboration, we could do a better global collaboration.
Balance and equity and access to resources and access to education should be the most important things when looking at sustainable development goals and whether your development is going to be long-lasting and meaningful.
Education has a great role there. Children from the beginning should be put in contact with problems and with problem solving and with a general attitude of embracing innovation. And I think that the other thing that would promote a lot of change in this attitude is the multicultural contact in order to see that other countries, other societies are able to do it, and they step forward and take a bold stance in front of problems. So that would be my approach.
Yeah, I really think education is a very important aspect of the sustainable goals, especially, because it's, I think for any place that wants development, they need to have the proper education and proper knowledge of the younger generations.
This is up to us. This is our collective responsibility. Nobody can claim this is my planet. This is our planet. We all are responsible for this, whether you have the resources or not.
We have the Youth Council, the National Youth Council, whereby we endeavor to bring young people on board and having them believe in themselves and knowing that they're not only leaders of tomorrow, but they're actually leaders of today. Because I think over time, the narrative has been pushed that young people are the leaders of tomorrow, and forgetting the fact that actually we can utilize what you have at the moment, the skills you have at the moment, to enable us to be on the table. Because when it comes to policy making, it's not only enough to tick the boxes, but actually to make sure that we come on board and be on the table and part of the policy making process.
The future is not in siding with any particular country. It is in growing together with several countries at one time. So yeah, that's why China and also people of Pakistan and people of China also mix up quite well, and yeah, we consider them brothers.
Thank you. We consider you brothers too. So-called iron friendships between China and Pakistan. But yes, so many great ideas. In summary, political stability is definitely a driver for development, and of course, an extremely important factor for developing countries. Second, a balanced and equitable approach is strongly advised, even at the very beginning. Third, how to maintain local empowerment while introducing a global outlook will also be key, as we can learn and exchange ideas with each other. And last but not least, youth engagement and people-to-people connections, friendships between countries will go a very, very long way to develop sustainably. Before we end this video, I really want to share some of the many thought-provoking ideas that came up during our discussion. Enjoy.
The development today being the new white man's burden, yeah, saying, but then I guess this kind of discourse also has a role in shaping like the inequalities that already exist, and also like enlarging the inequalities. But yeah, like a lot of people, they're saying like development goals today are post-colonialism. So yeah, it's especially like with a lot of the conditions attached.
Actually, the definition of developed and developing is changing because of the SDGs. What we would normally consider a developed country, the U.S., is actually falling behind a country that's considered developing, Cuba, in development stage. Actually, the U.S. is ranked 41, and Cuba is ranked 40 now. So now the nature of the economy and whether the economy is balanced is now being considered a metric for developed versus developing. Eastern scholars have, quite frankly, pointed out that a lot of the resources are taken from the global south to go to the global north. I mean, that's just it's a reality, and it's actually a present reality. Where you see the high per capita emissions, like particularly in those countries with the colonial legacy, like where I am, Canada, Australia, the UK, a lot of that has to do with them industrializing at the expense of the global south, but not dealing with agricultural issues domestically.
No doubt that Pakistan-American relation should also be excellent. But first of all, for a country to develop, to grow, its neighbors should be on the same page. So talking about that, Afghanistan, India, China, and Russia, these countries should be on same page. And I don't know why these countries, apart from China and Russia, why Afghanistan and India are not willing to cooperate. I guess Afghanistan is doing so, but India is not willing to do that. I think that the relations should be harmonized.
Why Afghanistan is on the back foot? A country is facing, I think, for 20 years that military war, and then you just impose like more than 30 countries military there. How the country will develop their own institutions, and how the country will bring. And again, the world leaders are those, they are the stakeholder. They need to take a serious action about these things.
Developed nations get critiqued a lot for their for being hypocritical in terms of development. Like they're they're saying we need to do this, we need to do that, but then they're the most privileged ones. And then do they have a right to demand those developing nations to take on those various developing paths and goals? Yeah. So I think, yeah, there's definitely a difference if you think about perspective of developing, because really a lot of people in Australia like they just can't actually imagine what the conditions of other countries are, like the developing countries. Like they can't imagine what it's like to have political instability. They can't imagine what it's like to, you know, to like not being able to secure your next meal. So yeah, I think yeah, I don't have a solution to all these issues, but definitely there has to be different perspectives on this.
Oh, wow. I don't know whether this is what you expect, but they are inspiring food for thought. And yes, perspectives are important, particularly as we do face different social and economic conditions between developed and developing countries. And to borrow an idea from the Paris Agreement, the principle of common but differentiated responsibility and respective capabilities is something that we do need to keep reminding ourselves as we explore solutions in addressing development challenges. In the next video and the final video of this development topic, we will discuss and look into what young people can do specifically and what types of leadership are required to promote global development. I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am. And if you like what you're seeing, subscribe and follow Youth for Global Dev on social media. And I would love to continue this conversation with you in the comment section. Before we say goodbye, let me once again thank all the participants of the Zoom discussions and the pilot initiative, as well as Tsinghua University, the Global MOOC and Online Education Alliance, and the Global Hybrid Course, namely China's Perspective on Global Development Initiative, led by Professor Yang Bin, the Vice President of Tsinghua University. Until next time, see you.